Welcome, Debra, for Debra's News.
All right, then. Okay, so everybody wants to be happy, right? I'd really be happy with a good live stream right now. But I wanted to share one. I thought this was a funny picture, but really, in a survey of 2,000 people, Americans, they were reported drinking enough water. They said that they feel very happy. 67% of the respondents that drank more than enough water were more than very happy. So all to show that if you're unhappy, have a glass of water. Nice. Or something else that makes you happy to drink. But apparently, drinking more water, it does make people happier. Speaking of happy, there are some signs that we are going to start seeing some recovery coming. The RV industry up in Indiana is starting to reopen. They're opening back up the factories and bringing folks in. They are working to make sure that their employees stay safe, of course, but they are starting to reopen. So very exciting news there. That is really good news because in a recent survey, next picture, please. In a recent survey that was taken, there was definitely a trend towards a surge in RVing this summer. So they're planning on a lot of pent-up demand of people wanting to get out, still a little afraid of air travel. So they expect a lot of folks to be heading towards the campgrounds. In fact, in one example, a Pennsylvania Jellystone campground got the okay to open, and within 3 hours, they had already sold out of 155 spaces. So wow. Clearly people are ready to get out there and get out of their houses. Luckily, other states, such as Pennsylvania and Arkansas, are starting to reopen up the state parks, and the National Park Service is starting to open up a few of the national parks as well. Portions of the Denali National Park in Alaska are opening, as well as on May 6th, Bryce Canyon is planning to allow people to use the main park road and view the Rainbow Point. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park is also starting to open. This is a picture Barry took of the Great Smoky Mountains, by the way. Is going to be having a phased reopening starting on May 9th. Since it sits on both the Tennessee and the North Carolina side and kind of divided, and those have two different stay-at-home orders right now, they are going to be doing it in a very phased method. So if you're going to the Great Smoky Mountains, you want to definitely check and see if the area that you're interested in is opening. And just keep in mind that with all these parks, many of their facilities won't be open, and maybe not even the picnic ground. So you just want to make sure that when you go camping, you are self-contained. So we're all going to get excited to get back out there and camp, but do remember to check the area, check their rules about masks, and like I said, be self-contained. Take all your food with you just in case you can't find some along the way. I think we're all going to be really happy to be out there back in the campgrounds, but there is one group that probably won't be quite as happy as all of us, and those are going to be the animals. I think, as we've shown before, the animals sort of have gone right back to things, making themselves at home without humans there. Here you can see some of the leatherback turtles have really made a comeback this year in Florida and Thailand with huge nests as they've been starting to hatch. And then also a pride of lions in Kruger National Park in Africa just made themselves at home on that warm tarmac there that usually is filled with cars. So they're going to be a little sad, I think, as we all come back and be in the campgrounds, but the rest of us are going to be very excited about it.
That's right.
And also, just one other thing of news. Just a friendly reminder, this Sunday is Mother's Day. Get your card in the mail now.
Yeah, thanks for the reminder.
You're welcome. Drew, Jason, this Sunday is Mother's Day.
Thank you, Debra.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, hopefully we're back on track. I have no idea if anyone but us and Marcy are here. Well, I see Jamie's here. Jamie just told us a nice photo of the Great Smoky Mountains. Thank you. So let's move on. At least people will be able to see this afterwards.
Yeah, sure. Hopefully they won't have all those minutes of
That's right.
stall
Glitches.
time. Yeah, glitch time. That would be sad. But at any rate, we're ready to get on with it and share and bring on our wonderful guest.
Yes.
So you want to introduce her?
I do. Marcy Masari is an interior designer and stylist from Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario.
Doesn't sound so pretty.
Sounds so delightful.
And it sounds pretty close, so maybe we can pop over sometime and see her.
Yeah, maybe so. So she has a passion for interior design, and she puts that passion in all of her projects. She was the winner of Canadian television series The Search for the Next Canadian Designer.
Wow.
So she was the winner, and I'm so glad Canada finally found an interior designer. That's nice.
That's not nice.
That's nice. No, I think every country should have their own interior designer. I think
Well, I
it's
think
lovely.
we all have a lot more than just one, but we're glad to have this one on.
Yes. So one of the reasons we're having her on is because that she took on a passion project last year where she got a small little bumper pull trailer and renovated it, and it looks beautiful. So we're going to talk to her about that. Would you please give a warm welcome for Marcy Masari?
Yay!
Hi, Marcy. The crowd loves you. Oh my gosh, the crowd is going wild. Let's see. Can we hear you? Let's see, Marcy.
Nope.
Are you muted?
Did you unmute yourself?
Hello?
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
there you are. There you are.
There you
The
go.
crowd
Just
was
need
so loud.
Okay.
How
Okay.
are you? Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Excited.
Yeah. So
I'm happy
yeah,
we
tell
figured
us.
all that out. I got nervous for a second, but I'm happy we figured all that out.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you for your thumbs up
Yeah.
during that. We were a little panicked as well. So,
And it's nice of you to say we're glad we got it figured out because I don't think we have it figured out.
but it's working. Oh, hey, Kim.
So yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself and in the trailer.
Yes, so like you said, I'm an interior designer from Niagara-on-the-Lake. You know what, I've always been inspired by kind of small space living and have always loved the idea of camping. And growing up, I always went to cottages and loved being by the water and just loved the outdoors and everything. So last year, I randomly came up with this idea thinking, you know what, I want a project that's a passion project, that's my own, where I challenge myself to turn something small and older into something beautiful on a budget. And I love in my designs to challenge myself to do that, whether it's for me or if it's for my clients. I know a lot of people love doing DIYs and projects on a budget. So that's kind of my big thing. And I found this trailer and everything kind of worked out. It was the right price. And I kind of just went from there. And there was a lot of bumps in the road getting it to where I wanted it to be, but I'm so happy with the way that it's turned out.
Yeah, it's a beautiful trailer, and you've taken a really small space, and with the colors and the treatments and the little I don't know what you would call them, knickknacks.
Decorations.
Yeah, decorations. Is that the technical
I
word?
think that's a
It looks
technical word.
lovely.
So Marcy, what type of trailer is it?
So I wrote it down just so I don't forget. It's actually a 2005 J Feather Sport. So it's on the smaller side, but it's the perfect size to go camping with 2 or 3 people. I've done 4 before, but it's a little bit tight.
No, that would be for a short weekend. Yes.
Yeah, very short weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how long is it?
I don't remember exactly the length of it. I
Okay.
should have written.
That's okay. That's okay.
Doesn't-
It looks pretty short,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So tell when you got this trailer and you had this idea for this passion project, how did you even start? Because that's what overwhelms me. Where do you start in a project like this?
So normally I love to start any design project with inspiration photos. I usually do a lot of searching on Pinterest or even on Instagram too. So for this project, I decided to come up with a little kind of board that I made. I like to make inspiration boards that have like color palettes or a style that I have in mind, different items that I would want to use in the trailer or inspiration for, pillows and fabrics and all that. And when I saw the trailer, I really wanted it to just be very inviting, cozy and charming. And I was really inspired almost by Cape Cod, kind of a nautical vibe, but also I'm loving really I'm just loving the English cottage vibe too. So that was also my inspiration, like very puttied colors on the cabinets, a lot of gold accents. I really just wanted it to be a space where you could kind of just relax for the whole weekend and it'd be very neutral in the color palette. So I see that my little inspiration boards up here, and you can kind of see that charm in materials that I use, and that was kind of my inspiration.
So where did you so looking at that board, there's small pictures and there's colors, so that's just something, did you go through magazines? How do you start doing a board? If I want to start a project, where would you tell me to start?
So you can go through magazines and kind of find different styles that you like. I usually make a Pinterest board. So for this, I actually made a trailer Pinterest board, and I would look up different trailers, trailer makeovers, and kind of things like that. And I saw a lot of DIYs, whether it be installing a new floor or painting the cabinets, or, reupholstering some of the like cushions and everything, because my trailer has a little banquette that I was able to reupholster. So I kind of went from there, and I loved the colors, light blue, whites, pinks, and then just neutrals, and kind of jumped off of that. And then for pieces, I wanted to do everything on a budget, so I used some of the items I had, as well as found antiques, and then I did a lot of Wayfair and IKEA as well.
Okay, well, let's go through some of the pictures so you can kind of share it with us what it looked like before and after.
Yeah.
We'll share with folks. I think the first one we have is the bedroom.
Yep.
So we're showing a picture of it from before and then after. So it looks like you did some major...
took out the bunk bed.
Yeah. What do you call it when you take things out? Deconstruction.
My sister actually helped me with that. So we got the hammer and we just kind of went to town on that. But I really wanted, it felt a little bit claustrophobic in that area, and I wanted it to just be a space where you kind of relax, and again, just very cozy and inviting. So blue gray was kind of my theme for the bedroom area. And I created a little headboard that you can see behind there, which was actually just pieces of trim and paint. I added a little bit of crown molding trim at the top to kind of bring that blue color in. Again, very affordable. I think I got that from a restore, and it was only $3 or something
wonderful.
like that.
Yeah.
And it's amazing what you can do when you just kind of cut it down to size and then just paint it the right color. And then I actually installed, I don't know if you can tell, but there's a wallpaper that's installed in that area, and it's just kind of a delicate floral pattern. Again, very simple. I did light linens for the bedding from IKEA. One of them has like a pinstripe on it, and then the other one is white. And then added a little bit of texture with the window treatments, some DIY window treatments. And then I always like to have a little tray, and fresh flowers is my thing. So making it as cozy and comfortable. Those are just very simple things that you can do on a budget that just elevates it and takes it to the next level.
Nice. It was very pretty. Very, very nice. So when you took out, it looked like you took out, of course, the bunk bed and then the cabinet and the end.
Yes.
Was that any trouble? Did it make holes in the walls? I mean, how did that work? I'm panicked to think to take something down.
Yeah, it did make some holes in the walls. We had to get some wood filler and fill that in, and then kind of repaint on top. And by doing that, it was, I was kind of thinking, do I want to lose this storage? Do I need this storage? But in my trailer, actually under the bed, it can lift up, and there's a lot of storage under there. And we would just be going away for kind of short trips. So far, I would love to go for longer ones. But I thought that it would be okay to lose a little bit of storage in order to kind of elevate that look. So
awesome. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Yeah,
All
makes
right.
sense.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at the kitchen. That's always a popular place for people to look at and think about renovating. Oh my goodness, that looks very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a kitchen and seating area here.
So were you able to keep the stove?
I was able to keep the stove. I was able to keep all of the appliances, actually. I had a little bit of, I had a few issues with the stove and the refrigerator, but actually the guy I bought it off of, he replaced it for me. So we ran into some issues, but I ended up getting some new pieces for it. So that didn't have to be replaced. But this is where paint can go a long way. So really what I did for the kitchen was a lot of painting, some new hardware on the cabinets. And I also did that, the wallpaper I have in the bedroom, that's also the backsplash in the kitchen as well.
Okay.
So So I kind of brought that into the kitchen. And this is where that English country kind of comes in, because it's that putty color that I'm loving. It's very neutral. For the banquette seating, you can see we really lightened it up with the pinstripe and the new pillows.
And so when you're, I'm sorry. So when you're painting things like those cabinets, so did you have to do a lot of sanding before you paint, or is it fairly easy to paint them?
It took a while to paint. I took all of the cupboards down and we sanded them down, and then we made sure to prime everything just so that the paint would stick a little bit better. And then I just used a Benjamin Moore, I believe it was like a satin finish paint that was very durable. And I also actually painted the countertop as well. I painted it white. And for that, paint did I use? It was from the Home Depot, and I think it was an exterior paint. So it's just a little bit more durable than a normal paint would be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, nice.
Awesome.
That's beautiful. Do you remember where you got those lamps from that were hanging in the sitting area?
Those are from IKEA, and they're $20 each. So it was pretty affordable for those. And they have a battery operated light. They're not hooked up to like electric, but I just wanted that more for a charming little extra touch.
Yeah, it's a nice touch.
And did you change out the flooring as well? I saw that nice light color.
Yes. So before there was, I don't even know what it was. It was almost like they had laid a sheet on top of the flooring that they had before, and we found some water damage. So we actually replaced some of the plywood in the floor just because it was getting a little bit wet, just to make it a little bit more sturdy. And then I used like a click vinyl waterproof flooring, and I just loved the color. It was very neutral. It was called quinoa. I forget. I love quinoa too. So
That kind of fits, right? Yeah. I love paint and things that are named after food.
Yeah.
That again brings a little bit more warmth into it, because I am a lover of white, as you can see. So that kind of brings some more warmth into the trailer.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that also is something that we hear a lot from folks. As I look at renovations, and I know we're seeing this in the comments as well, there's a lot of folks that do it white. White seems to be the most popular, and it does look like the way you did it helped pull together such a small space. But what are some other colors that you might suggest to people other than white that they could do in these small spaces?
I really am a lover of the lighter neutral tones that you can kind of see in the videos and the pictures that I have. But I also think a drastic kind of a focal point or a little bit of like a contrast is really nice. So even if you chose to do your cabinets in like a navy blue, or right now something that's really in style that I think, again, I like things that are more timeless, which is why I go for more neutrals. But even right now, like very olive greens or really pretty colors that come from the earth, like those are always really nice colors to go with, I think. Instead of going with like a hot pink or a bright orange, you could do that. But I like to bring those type of colors in accents where you can kind of switch them up a little bit more without them being so permanent. So for me, I would go more neutrals, whether it's the grays, the light blues, the whites, the greens, but like a lighter version of that's a little bit more neutral, I would say.
So like, for instance, in most RVs, I'm pointing to ours, like you can see it, but you can see some of the trim here, but it's usually this dark brown, right? And is the cabinets, and it is throughout the whole place, since that's all the storage we have. So with that, if somebody didn't want to be that bold to actually paint their cabinets, but they do have some wall space and didn't want to do white, would you go with something that's a pop of color, or would you go with something that's more neutral, knowing it has to sort of blend in with everything?
I think you could go either way. Like, again, my style would be more neutral, but if you're going to go with a pop of color, I would make sure it's a color that you love, that you kind of, even if you wear it in your wardrobe and you know that it's something that will kind of stand the test of time, And like I said, have more of a neutral undertone. Instead of it being so bright, if it's like a blue, more of like a deep navy than a royal blue, or if it's a green, like I was saying, more of a earthy green than like a lime green, something like that, I think would work. But I think that if you are a lover of color, go for it if you want to have a splash of color somewhere, and then make sure you balance it out with some neutrals as well.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
That's awesome. So, speaking of colors, and we did have a question from Teresa Ott, and she was just asking if she didn't want to, she's like me, a full-time RVer, that the thought of painting all the cabinets panics me. But if she wanted to have a bigger impact, but maybe do some small projects, especially, so what might be some suggestions you have to really help bring in some color and without doing major renovation?
Well, I think that paint can go a long way. I will say that. I know it takes a lot of time, but it really transformed the space. If you don't want to paint, I would say adding decor pieces that don't kind of overwhelm the space, but kind of make it look more put together. So whether you're doing some new bedding, or you're kind of doing like what I did on the banquette where we reupholstered the seat, that can take it to the next level. Because I know a lot of RVs have kind of florals or different kinds of fabric in them that are more brown or neutral. So if you wanted to bring in a pretty color, you could kind of do something similar to what I did, where it's a stripe for the main banquette, and then bring in some color in through your throw pillows, or in the kitchen area. Instead of painting everything, maybe do like a decal or a removable wallpaper like I did. That's affordable, that you could always take down. Even hanging some pretty towels up and putting up some art. If you're not always moving around and it's more, your trailer stays more in one spot, you can always put up some more artwork. And window treatments, I think too, changing up the window treatments can really change the look.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, that's
we
one
all
on our
have these
list.
really boxy, usually brown valances. So yeah, that would be lovely if I thought I could do that.
Yeah. Then Deborah, when we got our rig, one of the first things she did was pull down our headboard in our bedroom, repainted it, reupholstered part of it, and then put up a beautiful blue wallpaper, and it really changed that space dramatically.
It's the stick and peel, not the
not
paste, but the stick and peel kind.
Yeah, looks beautiful.
It changes, yeah, and it's affordable, and that's perfect.
Yes, absolutely, yes. So another question that we got was from Charlie Grace. She was wondering, from a perspective, again, we live in an RV and you get kind of, bored with it at times, and the seasons change. Is there something we can do, easy ways to change it up for the season? Or is there something we should do to where we have one theme and then we change it around or something?
Right. Well, being a designer, I know what it's like to get sick of things and want to change it up, which is why before I was mentioning the colors and like the bigger pieces kind of being more neutral, but then bringing in decor items that have some more color or some more fun. So if it's summertime, bring out pink plates, bring out some, yellow or pretty, like, flowery patterns and pillows, or dish towels. Or even if you, like I said before, even some artwork, kind of changing it through the seasons. And then in the autumn, bringing in more neutrals and kind of bringing in some warmth through texture, whether it's like a little rug, or bringing in a throw blanket that has a little bit of, faux fur. I love to even decorate the trailer for different seasons too, where in the summer I'll cut some fresh flowers and have that in there. In the autumn I'll have, some little gourds and pumpkins set up. And then in the winter, even though I'm not camping in it, I will go in and I'll, hang a little wreath and do little things like that, because it just makes it a little more cozy and homey. And people who live in their trailer, why not take it to the next level and really, deck it out with your favorite holiday things? It doesn't have to be over the top,
right?
But you can do that in little ways, I think, especially with wall space, more so than putting things on the ground or on the counters as well. I've learned is a good way to go in trailers.
So what's your favorite hints for your clients when you're talking to them and they want it to reflect who they are? And but they want to change it up. So what would be some hints that you would give clients to try to find that motif or that style?
I think that what I like to do is I always get inspired, like I said, by different designers or different people I see on Pinterest, and I kind of go through a bunch of ideas and kind of pick out what you love and what will kind of stand the test of time. So if you're a lover of antiques, then bring that into your space in some way. If you're super organized and love a clean modern look, don't have but like a bunch of extra pieces that take up a lot of surface area. Especially being in a small space, I think it's important to really know your style and then kind of go off of it in each space. Create little vignettes. It doesn't all have to match either. Like in my trailer, I made sure to have different colors in different sections, and I think that can really bring out your personality in different kind of zones in a small space.
Okay,
Cool.
that's great.
Let's see. We didn't touch yet on the bathroom. Now those are such tiny spaces, in almost all trailers. I'm going to pull up the picture of your bathroom and tell us a little bit about what your challenges were in that tiny space.
Yes, so that was very small. Once again, in there, paint went a long way. I painted everything white, and then I wanted to bring in a little bit of blush pink. So I painted the cabinet pink, and I actually added a little gold knob, so new hardware on there. And then something that's affordable that really changes up the look of the space is a shower curtain. So I added a pretty neutral kind of linen shower curtain in there with some new rings. And I added, you can't see it in the photo, but I added a new floor. So it's the same floor that's throughout the rest of the trailer. And then a little decor piece was a picture that I brought in, and a towel rod with a nice striped towel on there.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, looks
So
nice.
even in a small space, you can make small improvements.
That's right.
I mean, a shower curtain and a towel can make a huge difference, and probably aren't that expensive. We did have one person that did send us a picture of her bathroom. Do you have that
I think so. Let's see.
bathroom
Yeah,
question?
we had a bathroom question. So yeah, this young lady has it's a nice sized bathroom relative to what you just showed us, and but she wanted some ideas about where you would start, what you would do there to freshen this up and give it a different look.
Make it feel a little bit more cozy.
Okay, I'm just waiting to see. I can't see the picture.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Got a little bit of a delay, so we'll give you a minute to see it. Everybody's very envious that you have a bathtub in your trailer. That's nice.
Bathtub,
a tiny little bathtub.
Yeah, that's nice. It's a little shower. Okay, I see it. Okay, so for this bathroom, okay, pretty. You have a full shower. I don't have that. Okay, right now I see a lot of brown. So I think that if you're open to it, painting this vanity and the mirror could go a long way. Whether, like I said, again, those colors that come to mind, you could do white, but if you want to switch it up, a blue, a gray, a really pretty like neutral green. If you don't want to redo the floor, and if it fits, maybe a little tiny like rug in there, a new little towel holder, maybe even on the one side above the towel ring, you could put a piece of art, something in there just to bring a little bit more color in. And then I see that you have the angle, it looks like there's a wall cabinet or like a little cabinet there. Painting that as well, I think, could really take this space to the next level. And then if you wanted to add decals or some sort of removable wallpaper, that could work too. And painting the door.
Lots of great ideas. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's lucky in that she has it look like pretty much a white wall.
Yeah.
Which most of us have brown walls. So she's at least lucky there
That's
to
right.
get a start. So even if she doesn't want to paint her cabinets, she could do some fun things. You mentioned painting the countertop, and I've seen that with some other folks that even these countertops that look rather I don't know what do you call this
Corian kind of,
that you can paint those.
Yes. So like I said, I forget the exact paint that I used, but it was a very durable paint. I made sure when I went to Home Depot, I talked to the people that work there about the fact that it's going on a countertop, so it would have to be, wiped down and everything. I had to do a few coats, and it does get a few, like a little bit of marks, but I don't mind going and kind of touching it up. On my counter, I also have like a cutting board that always sits there, and I don't have a crazy amount of counter space, so it wasn't like I had to, paint a huge surface area. I also know that one of my friends who has a laminate counter in her house actually had a company come in and do a cover and a seal on it. So that might be an option too if you didn't want to paint.
Okay.
Cool. We did have a question come in. You answered this earlier, but with our glitch, we may have lost some people when you said that. But the question was, do cabinets have to be sanded first in order to paint them? And you had mentioned earlier, yes, that you had sanded yours.
Yes.
And did you use a primer as well?
Yes. So I sanded everything down, and then I primed everything, let it dry, and then I think I did 2 coats of paint on all of the cabinets.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And then earlier, Jeremy asked a question about the valances. We were talking about window treatments, and he was asking, what is the best way to get rid of these kind of box window treatments? Don't hate the blinds as much, but I feel like the valances with some wall decor could give it a boost. So do you have any thoughts about how somebody could change out? I don't know if you're familiar with the RVs that have literally, it's like, I think, covered up wood.
It's a box. Yeah.
It's a box that sort of frames up the window, and they tend to be brown. And so you can remove them, and I'm pretty sure there will be some holes. Most of the time, the blinds are actually attached to the box valance instead of to the wall. So if we take all that down, what would you suggest we do?
Well, I took mine down. I had like the kind of a valance, and they had more so old-fashioned looking drapery, and then the like you said, the blinds were attached to it. So if you were to take that all down, if there was holes, I would even maybe put up pieces, like thin trim pieces, and then paint it if you wanted to make it look a little bit more cleaned up. But if you're going to add more, like instead of blinds, what I have in my trailer is Roman shades. So I have some fabric that I loved that I actually got them made, but it's a piece of wood, and then it has kind of a valance top, but then it's a Roman shade that kind of folds down and comes back up. And mine's in a pretty check pattern, and it doesn't bring in too much light. You can't see through them. And then I have a window that's angled at the front of the trailer, and I just use 2 rods, and then kind of they're kind of looped. It's kind of hard to explain, but the fabric's looped for both of them so that they can, open and close. But I think that Roman shades work really well, or even having a rod with 2 tiny side panels that can open and close with the rings at the top. I've seen that done before, and I know that there's a lot of DIY tutorials online, even on YouTube, where they show how to do that, even with like extra fabric that you have laying around, or like dish towels made into that. So you can do that in a really affordable way that really elevates the look.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that, and I think it's kind of fun. We've seen some people that have done it with either things from their homes that they've left, for the full-timers that give them just that little piece of home, back from home, or also somebody was also talking earlier about decorating with pillows. And as RVers, again, back to the seasonal, a lot of us will I have throw pillows that they're in a cover, but then the cover can be changed out for Christmas or for the different seasons as well.
Yeah.
And Johnny Lightning had a question. We've got a couple of comments about the bathroom, but Johnny was asking, is that a double shower curtain
in your bathroom?
In your bathroom.
Sorry. What
is that a double shower curtain?
It is. No, it's not actually.
Okay.
I have with the rings that I have, I was able to put that kind of the material. I forget what the material is called, but the shower curtain material that you usually see, that's in the back, and then I have the cloth in the front. But with the rings that I have, I was able to hook them both on and then install it. So it's not. I'm sure you could installed a double shower curtain depending on how big the shower is.
That may be what he's referring to
Yeah,
there.
that's probably it. It's backed. It has something on the back side of it. Yeah. Yeah.
And we did have just a couple other photos that you sent out. You don't necessarily need to commentate on them, but I just thought it was nice. The details. The one on the left has the pillows that you use that show the nice textures to them, the stripes and the check, and then with the lamp up above. And
cool. And I think the one we're showing is the corner of your
sitting area
banquette with the lamp. And so I think that is also the Roman shade that you're talking about, correct? Right next to the lamp in the banquette.
Yes, I'm waiting for the picture pop up, but yes, I believe that. Yeah.
And
again, it was. Oh yes, that's it. Yep, that's it.
Yep. And
you can actually see both. So the Roman shade is on the right. You can see it there, and then the angled window I was talking about is what's behind that striped banquette there. So those are two of the window treatments.
Okay. Yeah, it looked lovely.
And on that refrigerator that you're showing, you show you the refrigerator. Now, was it already white like that, or did you do something to have it the cover be white?
So that was actually painted. Oh, sorry, that was a wood piece, and I actually painted that as well. And the way that it's brightened, it looks white, but all of my cabinets are actually painted Revere Pewter by Benjamin Moore, and it's kind of like I like to call it a grayish. It's not a beige and it's not a gray. It's kind of in between.
Right.
And it's a really nice neutral and looks really good with the brass like gold accents that I have. So if you're looking for a neutral color, that's a great one to go with for cabinets, I would say.
And what was that called again?
It's called Revere Pewter, and it's by Benjamin Moore.
Okay.
Like in Paul Revere.
Yeah.
Pewter.
I can remember that.
Yeah, because he
not that
he
I'm
was
going
a
to go paint my refrigerator.
So, yeah. So awesome. Well, we've had some great comments. Everybody loves your pictures and your bathroom and all the different rooms that you've made. I think that we've asked all the questions that people asked us to ask. Just double checking myself here.
While you're doing that, I do have a couple of photos that I'll pull up here that show how you're supposed to lounge in your RV. And you just look lovely there, lounging on the bed and lounging, having a glass of tea or something, a cup of tea in the sitting area.
So in that sitting area, I know in the before picture, when you first got it, it had the round table that kind of fit in the little hole in the wall, right? Or a hole in the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And now in this picture of you having your cup of tea, it looks like you have put a little folding table perhaps with slats.
Yes, so that's actually an IKEA side table.
Uh-huh.
And I bring that with me when I go camping, just so that I can stay indoor or outside. Like I have little fold chairs for that too. So that is great for in there. But I do still have the table that goes into the ground because it's a nice size for about 3 or 4 people to sit around to have dinner. But what actually is great about it too is that we can lift it and take it out and then kind of put it back when we need it. But I'm always switching things around. So sometimes I'll have a white table in there. Sometimes I'll have the slat table, and sometimes I'll have the other table. But
super.
Again, everything's affordable too. I think both tables I'm talking about from IKEA are about $20, and they're really easy to kind of move indoor or outdoor. So
awesome.
One of the tenets of RVing is that almost everything has to have two purposes. So you've
and be
done a good
easy to
job
move.
there. That's right.
Yes, it's either got to be easy to move or it's pinned down to everything else, so it doesn't move. So
That's
one of those two things. Well, Marcy, this has been awesome, and we really appreciate it. You've done a great job of kicking off our home improvement month, and we're really excited that you were here, and we appreciate it.
Yeah,
you're our first Canadian to talk to.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be on your show, and it's crazy that when I bought this trailer, I was just it's a passion project, and then, you make a little Instagram or something for it, and then it becomes a community, which is amazing. And I really am very impressed with everything that you're doing, and it's exciting to be part of this. So thank you.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. We really do appreciate it. And we are having people in the chat saying thanks to you as well. So
speaking of those folks, if they wanted to find out more about you, how would they find out? What's the best way for them to find you on social
Instagram
media?
or
Yes, so Instagram. So my design Instagram, which I do post some of the trailer, is at Marcy Masari. So MarcyMussari. And then my trailer, I actually named it the Tailored Trailer. So you can find it at the Tailored Trailer.
All right.
And I have pictures, and I do some stories from camping and all that. And I do have all the makeovers on it too, if you want to check it out.
Yeah, your
Awesome.
Instagram feed is really nice. So,
Yes.
yeah, good job.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Marcy. Great to meet you, and thanks for coming on TVC Live.
And if we ever make it to Niagara on the Lake, we will let you know.
That's right.
Please do.
Okay.
We can go for coffee or something.
Yeah, it would be nice. Hopefully by then we can all go out for coffee. Yes.
That's right, exactly.
Take care.
All
Be
right, thank
safe.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.
All right. That was awesome.
That was awesome.
I
Let's
enjoyed
see.
that. I hope all you guys enjoyed that as well. We are going to do a fun little tour of a rig now
Yes. So a friend of ours that we met at a recent conference,
at Lake Gunnersville.
yeah, Lake Gunnersville, and she's a sweet lady, and she is a solo female traveler, and she completely renovated her rig, and she allowed us to come in and do a quick video. So we're going to play that for you
Yeah.
now, and we'll see you on the other side.
Yes. Come back.
My name's Katie Helgens. I'm a solo female traveler. This is my camper. It's a J-Code J-Flight, 32 feet long. It's got 2 slide outs. What I ended up doing is following a lot of Instagrammers and other people, and I actually repainted it and redid the floors. So what you see here, I have a chalkboard painted refrigerator, and then I did 2 color tone colors on the wall. Did 2 layers of, or 2 coats of primer paint, and then actually put the actual color coded on there. If you go back to the sink, I actually was able to replace the sink in here too, and replace the faucet because I really wanted to make it more homey feeling. This entire front end is one of the perks of this camper. It has a lot of counter space, which a lot of campers don't, which makes cooking in the kitchen a lot easier, cleaning in the kitchen a lot easier. My water heater over here, I have a cup of tea every morning, so that was a must-have for me to be able to keep something in here to heat up. I did not actually replace the dinette table, but what I did do is sand it down and give it a darker finish. I believe the original model actually had booths, but by the time I purchased this camper, they turned it into a dinette. And the curtains you actually see in the windows here were in my bedroom in my apartment, and I was able to have an old coworker who altered them and made them fit to the sizes that you see there. The bed here is actually a day bed, and the reason I did that is to allow more storage underneath. The old couch there was a pull-out couch for a bed, but it did not look great. So what I did is I ended up buying a day bed and decorated a little bit nicer, gave myself a lot of storage underneath, and it made it a little bit more pretty, but then also gave it a place for somebody to be able to stay with me and still camping with me in here. The floors I did replace also. A lot of things were carpet and vinyl. And I went to Menards and actually got this 4mm plank, snap-in plank floors, and replaced basically the slide here, the whole floors, and then into the bedroom also. The shades that you see in most of the other windows was a find that I got from another Instagrammer, blogger, found on Lowe's, and you can get any size that you need, and they're one of the cheaper kinds. The ones in here are just a light shade, but when you go into the bedroom, those are a darker shade so that I can be able to sleep at night. Now we're in the bedroom. I've got a king size bed, which is amazing that you don't usually get in campers, and you're able to walk around the entire thing. I did the same thing in here. I painted and redid a few things. One of the amazing things I got to do is keep a lot of picture frames and still decorate my camper accordingly from my apartment. So that is a major plus that I'm really proud I've been able to keep a more personal touch in campers since I am living here full time. Then you come around, there's the bathroom and then the shower leading in from the kitchen. The sink here, I actually didn't replace it, but I ended up removing it and painting it with a tile paint and was able to put it back in. Again, gave myself some two-tones. The little electric fireplace that you see here, since we are in the winter months in the south, it can still get pretty chilly overnight. So turning this thing on instead of using propane has been a lifesaver and a must. Then you kind of go over to more of my personal touch. I was able to keep a lot of my jewelry and stuff from my old camper, or my old apartment and stuff, and still give this a more personal touch, like I said before. Thank you for taking a tour of my home. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see everybody out on the road.
That was
Thanks,
pretty
Katie.
cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you, Katie.
That makes me so jealous. I really am inspired to paint something. I just don't think I want to start.
Not tonight.
Not tonight, no.
Not tonight.
No, maybe there's this one wall in our bedroom. Maybe I can paint that one wall one day and see what it does.
Why not?
Why
All
not?
right, so it's Cinco de Mayo.
Woohoo!
And
Happy Feliz
with our little
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, happy Cinco de Mayo. So with our little glitch, we're running pretty short on time, but we did want to play a little bit of a trivia game with you. So if you'll hang out and bear with us just for a little bit longer, let's play a game.
Let's play.
So what other holiday is Cinco de Mayo most frequently confused with? Mardi Gras, Day of the Dead, 4th of July, or Mexican Independence Day? Of course, we have such a delay here. I'm not sure.
It is just now there, so tell us what you think it is. Johnny says it's Day of Dead. Pamela says Mexican Independence Day. Okay, D is the running answer, and that is correct.
D.
Most people think Cinco de Mayo is Mexican Independence Day, but it is not.
No.
Do you know what it is?
It is not Mexican Independence Day.
Excellent work. Yes. Yeah, it is. I don't know if it's one of the next questions, so I'm not going to answer yet, but I'll tell you later.
During what decades did Cinco de Mayo celebrations become popular in the U.S.? The 20s, 30s, 50s, 60s, 80s, 90s, 2000 to 2010. I've always thought it was like before I started becoming aware of it, so I assumed 1950 to 1960.
Probably, right?
So we got B coming in. Pamela thinks B. Jeremy, I think, says D.
Charlie said
Johnny's
80s, 90s. That's certainly when people start drinking more.
Yeah.
For it, I believe. And that's, I think, when the beer companies all made it much more popular.
Yep.
But
And the correct answer
is the 80s and
1980s
90s.
to 90s.
Excellent work there,
Yep.
folks. We got some smart people on our feed.
What is the most popular food eaten on Cinco de Mayo in Mexico?
In Mexico.
In Mexico. This is
the key point here in Mexico. So
Mexico.
I think all the rest of us are just having chips and salsa with margaritas, but in Mexico, oh, Larry, that's not nice. In Mexico, what are they eating? Rats is not one of the choices.
All right.
Tamales is a good guess.
Tamales is good. That's what I would have.
Johnny, I believe you are correct.
Mole poblano is the answer.
Yes, that is the.
Although I would prefer tamales.
Yes. But
Or
that
tacos.
is, I think, one of the main dishes of Pueblo, which is where this all started. So,
And where does the world's largest Cinco de Mayo celebration take place? Los Angeles, Pueblo, Mexico, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Mexico City, Mexico.
Jason Benton says it's B.
B.
Charlie Grace says her backyard, which, okay, well, then I need to come to your backyard next year.
Wow, how big is your
Mexico
backyard?
City, okay. B, Pueblo. Jamie says A.
The correct answer is
A. I believe it is. Yes.
Los
So,
Angeles, California.
yeah, that's where the
crazy.
largest celebration is. Now, that said, it did start in Pueblo, Mexico, and that is what it actually honors. Is a war that a little battle that they had, a battle against the French that the Mexicans fought, and Pueblo, Mexico. So that is kind of interesting. And do you know that that war only lasted 4 hours? Yet we are celebrating it to this day.
Amazing.
Amazing.
How many pounds of avocados do Americans consume on Cinco de Mayo? Now, this is important. This
All
is pounds.
Americans, not just one of us.
Yeah. How many pounds of avocados, not how many avocados. This is trick question. All right, so we got 800,000, 81 million people are guessing. 81 million again. The correct answer is 81 million pounds of avocados.
That's a heck of a
That
lot of
is
avocados.
a lot of
That's a lot of
avocados.
guacamole.
Holy
guacamole. Oops, I just gave you the answer.
Just gave you the answer.
No. I gave you the answer to this one.
This battle-inspired Cinco de Mayo lasted for 4 hours. That's about as long as my average nap. All right. That's our fun little trivia game. Thanks for playing
Now you
along.
have a little bit more knowledge about the day.
That's right.
So go out there and have a margarita and a bowl of chips and salsa all by yourself, not on a patio yet.
That's right. That's right. Although we were cruising through
Oh,
town
yeah.
and we saw some people sitting out on a patio at a restaurant the other night.
And wasn't it just heartwarming?
No.
Isn't that crazy that it almost brought a lump to my throat that there were people sitting outside enjoying a drink in the sunshine? It was lovely to see the small things that we've been missing over the last couple months. So
yeah, it was great. It was nice to see.
It was.
Well,
so next week
it's you and me.
Aww.
So we're going to be playing some videos, sort of like Katie's.
Some more rig tours.
Some more rig
absolutely.
tours. And that's really the main thing we're going to be doing.
We also have some guest photographs, I guess you could say.
Photographs.
So one of the things, one of the groups that we help administer is RV Renovations. Thank you, Jason Benton, for all your work on that group. But that group has a lot of folks that do a lot of renovations. So if you are interested in seeing inspiration about an RV renovation, it is a great group to join and go out there and see all their photographs. So we've talked to several of those folks, and they are willing to let us share their pictures of what they're doing. Some of them have some videos as well to show us kind of in progress. And again, asking lots more questions about paint and floors and things like that. So next week, we're going to focus on, what you might be able to do if you wanted to do some renovations while you're hanging around a little bit.
Yeah. So thanks for watching. We really do appreciate you. This RV community is amazing, and thank you for being part of it. So we're going to, we have a favor to ask. Please like this video, subscribe to our channel. We sincerely appreciate that. Hit that bell, be notified that another episode's coming up, and share this with your friends. Let them know about us, and let's grow this community more.
And should we go ahead and kind of tease later in the month?
Yes,
even?
We should, because some really cool interviews.
Yeah, some great interviews. So not next week, but the week after, which is the 19th. Yeah, something.
Yeah.
The 19th, yeah.
Something like that.
We're going to have on.
We've got
Britton and Josh.
Britton and Josh, and they have an amazing Airstream that they renovated, and that they
actually rent it out.
They rent it out. They have it at a RV resort in Arizona, I believe.
We'll find out.
And somewhere. Stay tuned. That's called the cliffhanger. That's what we do in the business. And they rent it out, and they're also driving a motorized Airstream right now.
Which is amazing. I didn't even know you could have a motorized Airstream, so it's kind of a cool thing. So we're going to get to take a tour of that.
Yep.
And then the weekend after that, we're having Modern
Mountain Life.
Yeah, which I think many of y'all are familiar with them and how they've decorated their rig along a theme. So I think that's going to be a really interesting topic as well. And then getting into June, we have some other folks coming up. So we'll talk more about them later.
Yeah. Ashley Mann is going to be one of those guests, and she's going to be doing some RV. So, now you've got your rig all painted. She's going to be talking about how to get things organized and
so it can stay pleasant.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, some exciting stuff coming up. Tell all your friends and let's
let us know if there's some other topics you want us to talk about, and find some guests to talk about as well. So we're here to serve you guys, and really appreciate you being here, and love seeing you in the chats and talking with you.
Yes. So until then, we will see you next week. We're going to play you out with part 2 of our favorite photos from the Asheville, North Carolina area. This is mostly the Biltmore and with a little bit of Chimney Rock. And then, we'll see you next week. But until then, we'll see you around the virtual campground.
Because we'll have a blog coming up this week about Asheville. We put a blog on thevirtualcampground.com about the Great Smoky Mountains and the waterfalls.
Yes.
So go out and look at that, please.
Have a great evening.
Don't forget Mother's Day.
That's right. Happy Mother's Day.
See you around the